Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence and the future of construction estimating. Now, AI is here to stay. It's definitely the future, but is it the future of everything? Is ChatGPT ready to replace estimators? Uh, Today we're going to find out. Now, this markup that you see before you is generated by an AI enabled construction estimating software. Now, I used toggle.ai when the free trial was still available. Unfortunately, right now I couldn't find any AI software, at least any that's popular, which offers a free trial. So you can get a free demo, but you'll have to end up paying the full year's license fee if you really want to play around with it and discover it in a lot of different situations what it can do. But I managed to use it. This is one estimate that I worked on. It's not I didn't do the full estimate. I just wanted to play with it and see what it could do, right? So let's see what the AI managed to do. Now, as you can see, it actually managed to identify the walls really well. Now, I was actually quite surprised. Now, of course, it's not going to identify the materials. You look at the finish schedule and automatically apply different flooring to the bathroom, to the bedroom, and to the kitchen, etc. That's of course beyond the scope. So you will have to delete, and of course the stairs, you will have to edit these to exclude the steps, and so you can only keep the mid and bottom landings. But overall, I was actually quite surprised. It did manage to pick up off the wall, even if you see this section here. For the AI, even for a human, it would take you at least a few seconds to sort of figure this out, but the AI managed to do it. Now, it did do a few weird things, like for example here, it created this diagonal line in the middle of the room, and this is a separate area. This is a markup, so because the free trial is not there, but yeah, but you can see it did something weird here as well, as you can see. But overall, it created all the shapes. Now to do the estimate, it's after that it's pretty much down to the estimator, and you have to do it like a normal estimate. The difference is the room shapes are already created, but now you have to create all the conditions. And then basically, for example, what I did was the kitchens, I selected these and put them, regrouped them as kitchens. I selected these and regrouped them as bathrooms. So this this so basically the difference between the AI software and the normal software is you don't have to create these shapes from scratch. You can draw the lengths, you can do the counts like I did for the doors. You can, of course, if the image is different, you can do separate counts for single doors and double doors. I didn't have to separate select them and group them separately, because since the image is different, you can sort of, it can identify, oh, this is a single door, this is a double door. But beyond that, it will face difficulty. For example, typically doors will be taken off using the door schedule, and you will have different sizes, and then you want to the different materials, you want to separate doors by material, by not just the size of the door, but also by what the layout of the door is, and in many cases the hardware side as well, if you are going to estimate doors. But sometimes you don't need that detail of an estimate, then the software is very very good. But if you need detailed estimate based on multiple text recognition, so it can probably still recognize a single text, which, but if you want to say, oh, but the door should be of this size, this material, this hardware set, of the AI is not going to do it. You will have to do it yourself. So, and of course you can export all these quantities to Excel. You can edit rooms, you can cut, you can delete, you can merge. uh, no, not merge in the sense you can select different rooms and group them into one quantity. So you can specify, like I did for the kitchens and the bathrooms in these areas. So all the basic things you can do, all the basic things you expect from a construction estimating software you can do. Now, what can't the AI do? Like I said, it the many the software. Even if you look at, so for example, if you take any flooring estimating software, specialized software, what you're going to find is that the features that that software has, like being able to do seaming, being able to calculate waste accurately, being able to have the tile, create the tile patterns and stuff like that. Those capabilities are right now not there fully in the software. So maybe they'll add them later. Right now, you can't replace specialized softwares. Now, what about general estimating software? Even there, these general estimating softwares have years and years of adding features to them, like to take the popular ones like Plan Swift, On Screen, etc., Bluebeam. So many of them have very powerful features that right now these softwares lack. So I would guess that maybe, down the line, if these software can add those kind of features, even have specialized versions for for certain materials, then they'll actually be useful and contractors can look at using them instead of the existing non-AI softwares, if you can call them. So uh, these are the limitations of software. And certainly if you think that these softwares, you could just talk to the software and they'll give the entire takeoff to you, that is far far away. I mean, even 15 years down the line, I don't see anything like that happening. uh, because being able to read notes, find discrepancies between plans and elevations, being able to identify materials, for example, be able to read the schedules and then being able to read the assemblies and then being able to edit. I mean, this is at the end of the day, whatever output the AI generates, the estimator will have to go in there, select all the lengths, areas or counts and specify the material or group or ungroup different areas, and then so that the final takeoff list can be created. So this is where AI is right now in construction estimating. And the other thing, the other problem that I have, that I want to caution contractors or estimators, is that this was actually one of the very good examples that I got. But uh, if you the problem with these software is, if I tried a few estimates and it can get very complicated once it's much easier to create a bunch of conditions and then mark all those conditions in the plan. However, it is more difficult to have all the shapes drawn like here and then select each and one of those shapes and then specify the material that goes in there, right? And in some cases you might even have to, for example, in this job, the kitchen area has a different material, has a different flooring, and this area, the bedroom area or the living area, will have a different flooring. So what you need to do is, then you need to cut these shapes here, um, and also you may need to, depending on how you do the estimate, you may need to cut under the range or under the sink, or not cut under the range. So you need to do all these things to edit this takeoff, for example. And this is much more difficult. It is much more tiring mentally, and it's much more likely to result in mistakes. Even if you assume the AI itself doesn't make a mistake, it doesn't draw the rooms wrong and stuff like that, or doesn't miss a count. Even if and I've seen that happen as well, right? It's not easy, but to recognize all the different shapes and get an accurate generate an accurate count. But even if you zoom in, the AI was fairly accurate, but estimating is about 100% accuracy, right? And it's really, I mean, nothing else, right? So a small mistake can lead to errors of hundreds of dollars, or even potentially even millions of dollars, right? So you don't want to risk that. And for me, prevention is better than cure. It's much easier to avoid mistakes than to correct mistakes. And an estimator who does the whole takeoff from scratch and reads, goes through and is much more likely to understand the job better to make fewer mistakes than having all the shapes drawn and then just having the job of, assigning and editing that. So that is my word of caution. If you really want, purchase one license, let your estimating team or you yourself can just use it on the side when you have free time. Try and see if it's helpful or not. Check everything thoroughly if you are using it for bidding. And then after a prolonged period of time, if you do find it's useful for your business, and it may be depending on the complexity of the estimates you require, then fine, then you can use it regularly. But that would be my advice as of now. Do not jump into it because you want accurate quantities. You don't want a situation where you use something new, you get the bid, and then you find that you missed something or something was wrong, and then you have to eat the cost, right? So that's my take. So AI is just a replacement for existing software. It's not going to replace estimators anytime soon. And you can take one license and play around with it. And if it helps you, then very good, but be very careful. So thank you guys. That was my take, and hope to see you again soon.